Thank you. And,
Oh, there's.
and Paul Johnson present. If we could stand, do Pledge of Allegiance.
With and one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Moving to item D, approval of the agenda.
So moved. Second.
Any debate? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Thank you. Moving down to the consent agenda. Do we have
I'll make the motion to approve. Second.
any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, moving down to informational sessions, so board reports, committee of the whole report, admin reports. Hopefully everybody has had an opportunity to see those. Just a note of our committee of the whole that stood out was just having Senator Quinn here and having some conversations. That was really good. And if you haven't seen that, would encourage people to go back and watch some of those. And so if you need to know any more, they're on record. Moving down to community comments, and we have none this evening. So now we're going to move down to discussion and action, and moving to item A, consider personnel recommendations. Dr. Aslan?
You have a group of 4 resignations before you this evening. Alexis Rabatka, freshman softball coach, 1 year of service. Bryn Bambanek, C-team volleyball coach, 2 years of service. Callie Langer, elementary health aide, 1 year of service. Pete Hopke, director of pupil services, 5 years of service.
All right. Do we have a motion to accept those resignations?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
I think we should thank our employees for the time service they've given us.
Absolutely. So, as Paul said, we appreciate everybody who has served our district, and we are deeply grateful for that. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, moving to hiring. Dr. Aslan?
1 hiring before you this evening, Max Nargis, middle school track coach, recommended by Mr. Lucius.
All right, do we have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
I would second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 I waited this time. Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to item B, consider acceptance of donations. Dr. Aslan?
A number of great donations this evening from Shell Lake Co-op, Livestock Shipping Association, to the Spooner FFA, $200 to help reduce student costs for the National FFA Convention. From the Spooner Police Foundation to Spooner Elementary School, 75 hats and 72 pairs of gloves. From the Stone Lake Cranberry Fest to the Spooner High School Marching Band, $300. From Tim Reedy to the Spooner High School Select Choir, $80. From James Gallagher to the Spooner High School Select Choir, $250.
Thank you, Dr. Aslan. Can I entertain a motion to accept those donations?
So moved. I'll second. Sorry. Go ahead.
Any discussion? Before we, just want to thank again the generosity of our community to our school. It's deeply appreciated, and so thank you very much. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? All right, donations approved. Consider fundraising requests. There are none tonight. So moving on to item D, consider CISA 10 shared service contract. And that was presented at the committee of the whole. And if there are no, well, first of all, can I entertain a motion for that?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing there's no discussion, then we will, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Same with item E, we considered Spooner Middle School yearbook contract as presented as committee of the whole. Would somebody entertain a motion to approve that?
I'll make that motion. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Item F is consider ECCP Start College Now Fall of 2023 as presented as committee of the whole. Would anybody like to take make a motion to approve those?
So moved.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Seeing there is no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving down to item G, consider facility use request. Is there anybody here to represent that? You guys, all right, excellent. So we do have some representatives tonight. If there are any questions.
Could I start?
Yeah, I have a question. This is Weiss.
Okay, go ahead, Joe.
Why, I guess, why in Spooner? Why not in Rice Lake? Why do they want to use our school and not down there? I just am curious.
You guys come up to the microphone, please? I'm sorry, just so the audience at home can hear that response as well. We appreciate that. Thank
And
you.
Joe.
Well, this is a project that we're doing, reaching out to different communities to share this information about health benefits in diet. There's a large, we did, to answer his question directly, we've done some in Rice Lake. We're planning more of these in the area, and just don't want to limit it to Rice Lake. There's health concerns across the board, and the name of the program is a full plate diet, and the tagline is, "Are you eating enough to lose weight?" And it deals with heart disease, diabetes, obesity, these types of things that plague all of us. So we're just looking for opportunities to share that information base with people in the community. I hope that answers the question.
Okay.
Yeah, Joe,
Is this-
Joe, were you able to hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it. I was curious, is this going to be advertised then in the Spooner area? And you expect up to 24 chairs. What happens if you get more than that? I mean, how I guess, what are you basing 24 chairs on? Is that what you normally get for these clinics?
I'm not sure where the 24 came in. Typically, we like 15. So we'll do an RSVP and go from there.
Thank you. Did you get that, Joe?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay. Go ahead.
I guess it comes back to the question. I didn't hear an answer to his question was, is this going to be advertised? Now you're saying it's RSVP. Where is it going to be advertised? Is there a cost to it for a community to attend? And how do they learn about this, and how's that going to get out in the community? Because you're coming into our community to do something. We don't know how you're going to promote
Correct.
this.
We had hoped to have a little more turnaround time on this. So our advertising time is going to be really tight. and we'll be doing it via mostly posters. We had wanted more like a month prep time, but just the details of getting this together. I know that there was another gentleman that contacted Sarah, the person that does the facility use here, and he's worked with her. Couldn't be at the meeting tonight, so we're here in his place, but it's just been a little more challenging, I think, than we anticipated finding a place to do it. So that's why we're kind of tight on advertising. So we can't really advertise until we have a spot.
Okay. Is this going to be advertised in our community, in your
Yes,
community?
it'll be advertised
Okay.
here in Spooner.
Is there a cost for people to attend?
There's a cost for the books.
Okay.
Yes, so
Tell-
there's a textbook that's very, very informative, and then there's a workbook that they go through as well.
Mm.
So that's the cost of the material.
What is the cost going to be?
I think it's 60.
Okay. Are the dates that you gave us this time correct? Because I remember the last time we saw some of those dates weren't working out. So are these
We
correct?
wanted to do April 8th through May 23, so it needs to run about 8 weeks.
You looks like you mean twice a week then, or 1 week, once per week? One
It'd be
meeting?
Tuesday night, so it's,
Okay.
what is it, April 4?
Yep.
Okay, April 4 through the May 23. So
Yep.
it'd be Tuesday nights. Yeah.
Give me your success rate. How are these people doing that have enrolled in the past? Tell me the
You
success
know,
story.
it varies. It depends how, motivated people come. The last one that we did, we had, what was our enrollment on that? 20?
We had 25 people.
And there were probably a handful that really took it and ran with it and saw changes. There was one gentleman in particular that was struggling with diabetes, needed to make changes. His A1C was quite high. And so he took it to heart. And what it advocates is a lot more plant-based fiber kinds of food to help with blood sugar issues and weight loss. And so he took it to heart and reversed. He's down in the normal, no medications. So this is a rampant thing in our society today, and we'd like to reach out and help people with it. So it's one thing to give the information, it's another thing for people to do something with it.
Great. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other?
Just one more question from me.
Yes, Joe.
What type of room what are we going to use? What are we going to give them for a room? Does anybody have any idea? Are they going to use the choir room, or are they going to use a classroom, or what, for 24 chairs? Has that been discussed at all by anybody?
Yeah, I believe the choir room was the location that was
Yes.
correct.
Did you?
On the form that they fill out, that none of the rooms have been checked. All they say it's flexible on the type of room, and they need up to 24 chairs. It doesn't say which room we're going to offer them.
So Joe, yeah. So Dr. Oslin said more than likely it would be the choir room.
Okay, yeah, I heard that. Thanks.
Okay. Any other questions?
Is that really Melissa's last name doing the diet class? Oh,
Yeah, that's our last name.
good for her. That's you. That's her. Oh, wonderful. Nice to meet you. I just saw that name and I think that's interesting.
It's easy for people to catch. It's the opposite of slow.
Great.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. So can I entertain a motion to approve the facility use?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. That's approved.
That's correct.
And thank you for being here to answer questions. Really appreciate that. Thank you. Moving down to item H, consider assistant boys golf coaching positions as presented in the committee of the whole. if we ever get spring. No, not. So,
Never.
can I entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing there's no discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion passes. Moving down to item I, consider makeup hours of instruction, and I'll refer to that to Dr. Aslan.
All right, thank you, Mr. Melton. So we are trying to be proactive on this. We know that we're down to less than a full day at the high school level, should we have another snow day, and then we'd be into makeup mode. So the conversation we've had is to seek authorization to add minutes onto the day if we have another snow day, so that it can be just a limited number of minutes. And you'll recall we've done this before, and it's been between 5 and 10 minutes added. And again, the proactive piece of it is if we should have a snow day before we have our April series of meetings, we'd be able to add that time on, have a negligible impact to the day, and not look to extend our school year by any days, if we can at all do that. So
So based on your choice is number 2 to add minute.
that's correct.
Okay.
And again, we'd just be seeking authorization to do that, and we'd be back in April with an update.
Would it be the same minutes per every school, or, you know, like that?
It's only at the high school level that we're up on the hours of instruction limit. So the buildings that aren't impacted, we wouldn't look to add time to their days.
So does that mean the bus routes change?
Yeah, I was
Like the
gonna say-
order? Is it,
Right. So
Yeah.
how do you do that if they all have to
Yep.
go on the bus at the same time?
So previously, we have done that, and we've reversed order between the middle
Okay.
school and the high school.
And just, we've done this in the past, I believe, as well, so this is not a new practice. Can I entertain a motion to authorize?
I will make the motion that we increase the number of minutes.
I'll second that.
All right, any discussion? Kind of had the discussion before the,
It makes financial sense.
Yes.
It's easier financially to do it rather than adding on a new day. A new day is very expensive.
yeah, I think it's a win-win for everybody all the way around. All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that authorization motion passes. Item J, consider WIAA Wrestling Co-op renewal for the 23-24 and 24-25 school year. And I believe, has everybody had an opportunity to see that? Time sensitive, and so, yeah.
I've,
Could I first entertain a motion, and then we'll have discussion?
I'll make the motion so we can have a discussion.
Second.
All right, any discussion?
Has this been asked by the wrestling coach if this is what he would like? Because we haven't had being part of the wrestling family, I know that we haven't had wrestlers from that Webster School District really in 2 years. So if that increases like our enrollment and where we would wrestle for district and things like that, is it still right to still continue to do so if we don't even have them?
I was under the assumption that we had participation, and that would be why we would be doing this.
They haven't come over.
We've had no participation. Have they reached out? I guess that's,
Oh, yeah, we've even offered,
what's
from
their,
the standpoint, since my son was wrestling, we've even offered to go over and pick them up and bring them.
I guess it comes back to what's our incentive if they're not reaching out to us?
That's why I'm asking. So has anyone asked the head coach of wrestling, this is what he wanted?
I can't speak to that, Mrs. Jepson. I don't know. I know that I have not. Mr. Schurz, I don't know if you can speak to that or not. And that was not part of the discussion I had with Mr. Lucius either. So I don't know the answer to your question.
I have a question.
Just hold on, Joe.
Can we come up to the microphone, please?
Okay.
We need to record this.
So as I mentioned, I haven't gotten any indication from Caleb that he wanted out of the co-op. The discussion that, any discussion that Matt has had with him, I'm not aware of. So I guess that would be news to me if we didn't. And yeah, your question's valid.
I'm just saying from the standpoint of, I mean, I have nothing in it anymore, but
And again,
if we take that on, if we do not take that on, so where are we then wrestling at as a district, you know what I'm saying?
yeah, I understand.
Would we go down?
What division
Yep.
that we'd be in.
And
again,
would we be better to be down? I don't know.
And, off the top of my brackets this year, based on our enrollment, our enrollment, I believe we were in the same bracket.
We would be
anyway.
still anyway.
But I can't, like I said, it's a valid question. And again, usually when these things come up, the first one's going to be after it is the coach who doesn't want to be in it. So I haven't heard that he doesn't at this point.
Can I go pursue on that? Because I guess you brought something up, Michelle. Thank you for doing that. Is that what is our advantage to staying in the co-op, and what's our advantage to not being a co-op? And if they're not reaching out to us, how is this going to affect our students? Because
The hard part is, and I'm going to be honest about this, we have kids though from the younger years that are coming over. Those younger grades, those elementary kids and those middle school kids are coming.
you're saying you eventually will.
I think we eventually will. So I'm not saying I don't want to do it. I guess I just wanted the question, has it been discussed? Because we are getting like 10 to 12 out of the elementary and the middle school coming. And one of the people that are helping coach is a coach from Whitman.
Yeah,
So I'm not saying I don't want it.
right.
I was just wondering about the question. Will
No.
we see something from it eventually? Yes, I think we will, because those kids, I think, have something in it, especially when one of the dads is a coach and wants to continue to be a part of it. So I still think we should do it. I was just asking the question because part of me is like, okay, would it help our kids who are wrestling not to have to wrestle at the level they were if we don't have people in the high school? But I don't want to lose those elementary and middle school either.
Yeah, and I guess that's certainly what I'd say too, and that was my next thought is what do our feeder programs look like? Because when you have to fill 14 weight classes now.
Right, you can't.
It wasn't what a couple of years ago
Had all of them, yeah.
or we had a few years before that we were down quite
Yeah.
a bit. So, yeah,
And
that knowledge is important because again, that's why we certainly may want to.
I still am involved in it, so that's the only reason I bring it.
To your question, Paul, the advantage is if you have the feeder program or you have the students, you're able to have a stronger program to fill it. That's if you have kids coming and participating for a school that does not have that opportunity. That's the advantage.
And we did have a young man last year.
I'm gonna
But he didn't finish.
I'm gonna say
That's the hard part.
I'm gonna say something here, and like I say, I'm coming into this meeting cold. This is something new. I haven't had time to prepare or even sleep on it or think about it, but I'm gonna say something. In the past, we've had parents that have come to us begging us to allow their student into our co-op.
Mhm.
And in the past, we have said to those people, I'm sorry, we cannot help you. It needs to be your district that you live in that needs to come to us and ask us for permission.
They are though.
They have?
They
Th-
are asking.
This is an existing
This is an
co-op.
This is an
Right.
existing
It's an
co-op.
existing, but what I'm saying is, have they asked, has that district
Yes, they
board
continue to
asked
ask.
us to renew?
They did ask us to renew.
Okay, we're good then. That's the only thing I was worried about. Because in the past, we've had people that wanted to do it that the school wasn't even on board with.
No, they are,
Okay,
because one of the dads that is doing it is part of the school, so
so
he's
the
very
district
involved
has
in it.
formally
So,
said to do it. We're good.
I only bring it up because I wanted to know where we would land. That's the only reason. Because,
And that's the answer that we didn't get an answer to. I mean, that's
well,
the
he,
district
no,
court.
he did say it. We would still probably be
Most
in the
likely be
same-
in the same
The same
division.
the bracket.
Yes.
We would just be probably one of the lower bracket out of all the 10 or whatever there is in that division. And it is what it is. But I just was asking that question. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you have a question?
No, I just, for, to Paul's point, that you got to think about the broader spectrum though, and like you had mentioned, it's a feeder program that we have to think about the future, and you mean, who's to say that these kids that end up in the younger grades want to maybe open enroll into this school
Yep. And we want
in the
that.
future, and we want that, so it's to a benefit to that enrollment number as well, and potentially.
Because it might be easier for them to open enroll to us and wrestle here than to try to travel here.
Joe, you had a question, so do you still have that question?
Yeah, I just was wondering, what spawned this whole thing? Is it Webster's need to join a bigger program, or is it Spooner's need to have more people involved in our program?
Yes.
It was both.
Both.
Webster
Okay.
doesn't have wrestling.
They don't,
They
okay.
do not. So the
They
kids
have
who,
a number of kids that wrestle,
yeah,
must be what's happening.
yes.
Okay. Does Spooner by itself have enough numbers to have a team?
Not 14 classes.
No?
No.
Okay.
So them together is good. That was not what I was questioning, because I know what's coming up in the future. My biggest question was what would happen if we didn't have it together?
Right.
So to answer your question, there is no number that you have to have a team. The
No.
point is that you've got 14 weight classes, and for the benefit of supporting wrestling, you want to try to fill as many of those classes as you can. And again, that just gives us an opportunity to have a stronger program, and again, gives all kids an opportunity to participate.
Thank you.
My only concern is we're not sure what the head wrestling coach is thinking or knowing if he knows or has been communicated to. So my question is, can we approve this pending the head coach's approval, since we still have till April 1st?
I'm not aware that we've ever asked that question before we made the approval.
No, we didn't on the original motion. My question is if we make the motion to approve this pending the head coach's.
I'm going to say, I don't think we need, I'm willing to make the motion to approve the way it is written, and I'm just going to say that we assume the coach is on board with us, because we as an administrative board have made the decision that we're going to enter into an agreement with that school. So assuming they're going to accept the money from us, they're going to do exactly what we asked.
Yep, I'll just say for the record, I'm concerned about the communication.
That's,
So I'm just saying for the record, I'm concerned about the communication.
So you're going to say that, I'm going to say that I don't believe that the coach should be allowed to overstep and say no to this board that's going to make this decision, because you're asking.
That's not what I'm asking.
what he's saying.
I'm saying if we think if a head coach is not thinking this is good for the program, you'd want that piece of information for a co-op, saying, I don't think this is good for the school, because we're going to all these events and a Spooner Webster and there's not a Webster kid because we don't have participation, because that bumps us into a different arena, population. There's a lot of different things. The the question is, or the concern is the communication piece. That's all I'm saying for the record. So
My first question was he talked to?
we don't
That's
know.
all I'm asking.
In my response to that is, I don't believe we've ever asked a coach that question before.
Oh, I think we have.
Coaches are usually always involved
In their decision.
some of this conversation.
Yes.
Before it gets to us then.
Yes.
Normally.
Before it comes here.
Okay.
But I will make the motion, or I already made that motion so I call for the motion.
Joe, did you have a question?
Just one more. Is there any transportation costs involved with Webster kids coming to Spooner that we have to pay for?
No,
No.
No.
not at all.
No, as the host school, they would travel here for practice. They'd also travel here for events that were out of district.
That's all I.
Any other discussion? So just to clarify, the motion is to approve the renewal. And that is the current motion, so,
With the approval of the coach, you're telling me?
no, I
Not-
didn't say
not
that.
approval?
It was
Okay.
just.
Not unless
a
that
motion.
is rescinded. I don't know if we can
I
do
did
that.
not rescind it. I am
Okay.
saying I will
I'll
make the
second that
motion.
motion.
That was
It already
already
was.
second.
Okay.
And we had our discussion, so I'm going to abstain from this vote. So all those in favor, say aye.
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 All right, motion passes. Thank you. Next on our agenda is to convene into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851C to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercise responsibility. And so,
Make that motion?
thank you.
Second.
All those, do we need to do a roll call or is it?
Yes.
Yes. Can I get a roll call, Jesse? Thank you.
Yes.
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 Yes,
Yes.
All right.
6:33.
Good to
go, Okay.
Paul?
Time now is 6:58. We are now in open session. During closed session, the board took no action. Therefore, back to the president.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
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 Motion, or meeting adjourned.
6:57.
You want me to hand you that?